that
Well,
one.
let's do another one, and let's hope that we stay, within, you
Within the
know,
context?
yeah, yeah. Okay, look at this question. This question from the picker wheel is saying, what happens when years of meditation give you insight, but don't change how you treat people? Hmm.
Wow. What happens when years of meditation give you insight, but don't change how you treat people? I feel like this is a dig. Like you chose that one and you just try to play me.
Like, what happened?
No, I'm joking. I'm
I
joking.
mean,
Um, you want to go first, or should I jump in?
um, let me take a dig at. I mean, I don't know how to approach this question because there's one thing about, okay, meditation, and then it's talking about that may not change how we treat other people. And the treating other people is now in the realm of morality and ethics, right?
Oh,
And
I like
the
that.
question that I'm hearing is a correlation between meditation or transcendence, if maybe it is transcendence, meditation and transcendence, correlation with morals and ethics.
Uh-huh.
And is there a correlation? I don't know if there is a correlation.
Uh-huh.
Um,
Oh,
because
interesting.
even within that transcendence, whatever that's happening within the physiology, maybe it can create some kind of a distance of the cultural, ethical, um, or conditioning
Uh-huh.
that's happening, right? But I don't see it necessarily providing an ethical or moral substitute. It can create
Uh-huh.
the space, but it doesn't necessarily provide, you know?
I
So,
love that answer.
yeah, I don't, and then that becomes the question, which is, I think this is more on the surface level. What does one do if they do meditate,
Yes.
right? And it's maybe creating that space, but now they see the gap of, or hopefully, that's the thing, hopefully they see the gap of their morals and ethics. Now the question is, is it up to the person to kind of go and figure out their morality and their ethics,
I love that.
or is it, how do they engaging in that inquiry,
Yeah.
you know, which I see it happening.
What?
Of It can years of meditation and no fruit when it comes to morals and ethics. You know what I mean? No fruit whatsoever. But that, I don't think that's a dig on the meditation itself.
Uh-huh.
It's just because the meditation itself doesn't provide moral and ethics.
Uh-huh.
Especially if we're just seeing it as a quote unquote scientific, from a scientific perspective, meaning like, okay, physiology.
Yeah.
However, maybe here's this is some bias that I have of a meditation that within its transcendence also is heart-centered,
Uh-huh.
which kind of dealing with the transcendence and the heart space at the same time.
Uh-huh.
That maybe can
Ooh.
provide some level of morals and ethics. But here, this is the bias from the Sufi tradition,
Uh-huh.
you know. Um, but that's my take on
Man, you gave so many things I want to speak on, but I don't know if I'm remember them all. So I just start somewhere.
it.
This was good, bro. This was good. I love the way you like dissected that and analyzed it and then like brought out your commentary on it. It's beautiful the way that went. Um, where do I even start? First, meditation and transcendence. Just because someone meditates, whatever meditation they're doing, does not necessarily mean they're transcending.
Hmm.
Um, Transcendence is a specific thing. Meditation is a specific thing. Meditation might be, depending on what type of meditation or how you're using it, a tool of transcendence, but it's not always one-to-one correlation.
Hmm.
Um, what else? I love how you said like meditation or transcendence might create the space for someone to have some moral ethical development, but there's not necessarily causation.
Hmm.
That's fire. And
Mm.
I agree with that. I totally agree with that. Um, and I also agree with what you said. You said from the Sufi perspective,
Hmm.
at the meditation or transcendence has maybe a heart focused aspect to the technique, then maybe it allows for more space that leans towards moral and ethical development.
Hmm.
That's fire also. Um, and at least Maharshi Vedic science, they have, what you guys call stations, I guess we call established
Hmm.
in states of consciousness. Um, there is this idea of God consciousness.
Right.
And the model is that if a person is transcending consistently over time,
Hmm.
is allowing for that, let's say, space
Hmm.
to build up that you described,
Hmm.
this broadband coherence with the ability to perceive nuance, very
Hmm.
detailed, very in a synergistic way.
Hmm. Hmm.
And as this transcendental consciousness is building up in the person's awareness, this flexibility of awareness, this expanded awareness, it allows for a culturing of the heart
Hmm.
into what's called God consciousness, transcendental consciousness to cosmic consciousness, being able to have this witness aspect to your experience where um, you can realize that all this is that, I am that
Hmm.
kind of thing, but
Hmm.
there's also still separation.
Yeah.
You experience both the sameness and duality,
Hmm.
right? But that, through transcending according to that model, cultivates a conditioning of the heart where sort of a melting of the heart, a
Hmm.
devotional quality, a
Hmm.
warmth starts to grow and allows for, I think, how you describe more space for if you see that there needs to be some development ethically or morally in yourself or wherever you might be, that there's more capacity for it.
Hmm.
There's more awareness that you can make these changes and do these developments.
Yeah.
But I think what also becomes relevant here is this example you gave about, I think, playing the piano or something earlier on.
Hmm.
Um, you don't just sort of get enlightened and now you can play the piano.
Yeah.
There has to be development in this physiology
Hmm.
for someone to have that capacity. They have the capacity,
Hmm.
but they haven't conditioned the nervous system to
Yeah.
be able to hold that capacity. I think it's similar to moral and ethical development.
Hmm.
It'll Meditation and transcendence allows for the capacity to be expanded
Hmm.
for that development to take
Yeah.
place. But there is not a one-to-one correlation or causation.
Hmm.
Shit, not even a correlation. There's not a one-to-one causation between, you can't prove causation between meditation and transcendence
Right.
and moral and ethical development.
Right.
There is, as someone develops in higher states of consciousness, some research that's stating that these the development of ethical and moral things start to like cultivate more,
Hmm.
but there's still not a causation.
Yeah.
On top of that, there's also not a one-to-one correlation between higher states of consciousness and ethical and moral development.
Right.
An example you used a few months back, what if someone gets enlightened and they're in a place where, women are treated horribly
Hmm.
and there's racism running rampant or something like
Hmm.
that, but they've grown up in this culture,
Hmm.
but they've been exemplifying practices that allow for uh, cultivation of higher states of consciousness
Hmm.
in their nervous system.
Hmm.
They don't just automatically, boom, I'm not a racist no more. I'm not a misogynist no more.
Hmm.
There is something that happens where um, their psychology has to catch up to
Yeah.
what's happening for them um, in terms of higher states of consciousness.
Yeah.
It's almost as if the physiology, or not the physiology, certain states of awareness, how do they describe this? there are physiological correlates to higher states of consciousness.
Hmm.
These physiological correlates allow for
Hmm.
a capacity to build,
Hmm.
to take on more moral reasoning and psychological development, even physiological
Yeah.
development.
Yeah.
But to take that on is still the choice of the individual,
Right.
you know?
Right.
And I'll
Yeah.
stop there because I can't remember everything you said,
Yeah.
but I love this
No.
conversation.
Yeah, absolutely. It's that's the thing. It's like, okay, it's creating the space or it's creating um even the uh the body is now becoming more and more conditioned within that transcendence,
Yeah,
right? So the nervous system might be regulating itself in a
yeah,
different way or becoming more and more refined in its regulation,
yeah,
but it's still with that choice is upon the individual
yeah.
to now meet all
Mhm.
of these different changes that are taking place,
Exactly,
right?
exactly.
Um, so yeah, one can stay within whatever moral and ethical uh, place that they started from
Yeah,
before going up these stages that you
exactly.
named. Um, and one at some point can choose this. Okay,
Mhm.
now I'm experiencing based on my experience now, I can see some kind of disconnect,
Yeah,
and now I can speak about it or change something and
exactly,
have that be the example.
exactly.
And even then, there's still limitations. Even then, there's it's up to whatever the capacity of the individual. You know what I mean? Like,
Hmm.
um,
Yeah. There's
yeah.
this idea. I like what you said there. Even then, there's still limitations. Um, it makes me think about us being in in these bodies, you
Hmm.
know? These bodies operate a certain way.
Yeah.
And if you're in a human body and you're still alive, it's always going to be evolving and changing and transforming. We can either have intentional, we can intentionally direct that evolution, that transformation of these bodies in a certain direction
Hmm.
or not.
Hmm.
But if you engage with it in a certain way, it's more than likely that you can increase its capacity.
Right.
Same thing with everything else. But
Right.
will it always have boundaries that if you're in a human body that you might not be able to fly in this life?
Not even
But
that.
well, just let me finish the statement. But that doesn't mean you should try. You shouldn't do. No, I'm not telling nobody
No,
to go
hold on
jump.
a second. Nah, don't do that.
No, wait,
Don't do that.
I need to say
Don't
I'm not
do
telling
that.
nobody to go jump off anything high. But like, there are places where people are studying flight for humans. You know,
Nah,
I
nah.
mean, it's
Uh,
happening.
oh,
It's happening.
okay.
People are meditating and praying and doing mystical things all over the place. Why can't we also believe in human flight at some point? Maybe not now, but
Okay. Yeah.
or
Yeah.
maybe I'm just
Just make
biased.
sure you wear one of those suits that allows you to fly. But
Anyway,
yeah, to your point. Yeah.
my point is that these bodies will always probably, if you're alive, you're gonna always be needing to grow
Hmm.
until you're not alive no more, and then I guess the conversation's over. But like, of course, there are gonna be what they call actually they have a phrase for this, what I'm trying to describe, the faint remains of ignorance.
Hmm.
No matter how far you evolve in this human body, unless it just becomes completely maybe some kind of light body or God body walking the earth or something like that, and you become the incarnation of God on earth in a way that they talk about in the Bible or the Bhagavad Gita or any other of these different religions.
Hmm.
Unless that is the case, then there will be some faint remains of ignorance, always a shadow to
No.
for you yourself, wherever you are in your station or state, to deal with.
What I'm saying, even in that case, what you're saying these books are talking about.
Oh,
And we have a lot of examples, right?
Hmm.
The thing is, I think that not only the limitations are just body limitations, okay, like flying or not flying, or
Hmm.
um, gravity or not gravity, you know what I mean?
Hmm.
Having a different relationship with it. But even in the inner life, even
Hmm.
in the what's the highest level of cosmic what's the highest level, let's say,
Of
of these levels that you named?
Brahman consciousness.
Even at that,
Uh-huh.
right? If it's here in this life,
Uh-huh.
meaning like in this body, the moral and ethical aspect,
Uh-huh.
eh, that's where for that I think there isn't an absolutism when it comes to these things, where a Brahmin, a person in that state
Hmm.
who's living here on earth in this body is still gonna have a limitation when it comes to the moral and the ethical.
I agree. I
Yeah,
totally agree.
it's still gonna even at that level, which makes me think that there is even whatever moral and ethical space that I occupy or
Hmm.
that occupies me, it's still not, it can't be rigid in a way that it's fixed. That, okay, this is now because I'm at the highest, that this is the ethical and moral
I
standard.
think like so so I think at these levels, I mean if we're even talking about anything, but at these levels, moral and ethics is not a conversation.
No, 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 no.
Well, let me explain why I say that though, at least. Okay.
Yeah.
Um,
But I don't want you to go too in. You're going in. I want it
no,
in the world.
well, it's important to do that because if you say at those levels that they're talking about in the Bible or these books, I mean, we have to speak directly to that. And that's talking about a level of oneness where um a person is, there's no, to speak about a consciousness like that being embodied through every soul that is living or dead or everything. It's like the idea of, I think morals or ethics might collapse because they're no longer just a person you would think just walking around. Maybe their body might be, but the awareness or consciousness, that the fullness of who that being or what that being um, would be outside of it, would be, they would be always operating in that field that Rumi is talking about. Let me just finish it. I promise I'll be quick. The field that Rumi is talking about, there's a field outside of wrong and right,
Outside
or
of belief and disbelief.
belief and disbelief.
Hmm.
People also say wrong and right, as that's a
Mm.
misquote.
Yeah, probably.
Oh, okay. Well, wherever it is, wherever that place is,
Yeah.
it's a, it's an ineffable space where your awareness is the aware, not the awareness of an individual. You are
Hmm.
experiencing life um, through every being living, or you know what I mean?
Sure.
There's no, the ethic and moral collapses at that state in terms of how we use ethic and moral.
I don't know if I get this. I mean, the reason why I'm pushing back on this is
Uh-huh.
because this is what gets us in a dilemma of um, putting oneself
Uh-huh.
or another as a, what's the word? I don't know what the English translation of it. There's an Arabic word called masum, meaning like no wrong can be done through that person, right?
Okay.
But that's what you're saying.
No, I'm not.
But you're saying at that state, the ethical is no longer, it collapses. What does that mean?
What I'm saying
You're
is
talking about the inner experience of the
no,
individual?
no, no. So yes, the inner experience of the individual in terms of their awareness, their experience of reality, not whether they should kill someone or not. and then we decide like from where we are, oh well, they're in higher states of consciousness, so I guess it's right.
So, but that's what I'm
That
saying.
that not I get what you're saying, but that
Yeah.
is the epitome of the mistake of the intellect, what they call pragya parad,
Hmm.
is trying to infer from the intellect um sort of godship or something on someone else where like your teacher or something, not your teacher, I shouldn't use
Jesus, Muhammad,
Jesus, Muhammad,
Krishna,
Krishna.
whoever.
Because you use these names, you decide like, okay, well, they know better than me. You know, that if Jesus said women wear no pants in church, da da da, when really it's nothing, there is this mistake of the intellect. The distance from, let's say, the awareness or perception of God to this to the intellect of humankind is probably, heard it read or somewhere, as far from the heavens is from the earth. There's no way we should be looking at another individual ever and deciding that this is the God that I'm going to listen to, whether we call them, in my opinion. Now, I know everyone else feel differently, not everyone else, but many people, and decide I'm going to give all my sovereignty over to this person,
Uh-huh.
place, or thing
Yeah.
because this person is in a higher state of consciousness and this is my God. Now, if you are in a certain state that you're experiencing yourself, a self-referential state where you're like, oh wow, all this is that, I am God and I am established in this space, that's your business. If you come at me telling me I need to be listening to you because you're having an experience, that's a whole nother different conversation. That is how your intellect or my intellect is saying, oh, I'm going to engage with this person because I believe that they're in a higher state. That's a very different conversation than you well, this person engaging with themselves because they're experiencing higher states of consciousness. Now, if I decide I'm experiencing higher states of consciousness, now I'm a guru and I'm about to go out and say, you're supposed to follow
Not
me.
even a guru. No, 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 not even that.
Who
Now you say, okay, I'm experiencing that. My morals and ethics are what? You're saying they collapse in that state?
they don't just collapse. Our ideas of what they are collapse for them because their experience, let's just say, how do you describe it?
Here, I'll give you an example.
Okay.
This is a story, right? Because this is reminding me of that, which, I don't know how much is on topic, that we're talking about, but we're talking about this transcendence, this idea of these different states
Yeah.
and ethics and morals, right?
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
there's a story in the Quran about Moses and his teacher,
Hmm.
Al-Khidr, the green man, right? It's a spiritual, this character is like a spiritual body, light body, but incarnations ever living. He's the green man, is all alive. He come visit you. It's a particular spirit, right?
Uh-huh.
And Moses wanted to go and learn from him, or like he ran into him into on his way somewhere,
Hmm.
and he saw him and he was like, teach me,
Yes.
you know. And he said, you won't last learning with me.
Hmm.
And he said, trust me. Like, I'll listen. I won't question.
Uh-huh.
He said, whatever you see me do, don't question me.
Uh-huh.
So Moses is like, okay. So they're walking and they had to cross the river and they get into somebody's boat and they cross the river, but halfway through, or when they got there, that guy, Al-Khidr, he put a hole in the person's boat,
Okay.
right? And Moses was like, bro, what are you doing? They just gave us a ride for free or whatever. They can make us go across the river and now you mess up their boat.
Okay.
Like, what? Why did you do that? And he was like, I told you, you're not gonna understand what, you know, what this level is or my teaching. He was like, no, no, okay, okay, I promise. I'll stay quiet. Right? So they walked. And then he saw um, a kid,
Hmm.
right? I don't know, maybe like 10 years old or something like that. And he was giving a hard time to his parents, being like devilish.
Hmm.
He went there, killed him.
Hmm.
He was like, what the heck are you doing? Moses was like, what are you doing killing? He's like, I told you, don't like, this is the second strike two, right?
Hmm.
Why are you questioning me? And he's like, okay, okay, I promise I won't question. And then the third time, they went to a town and they asked the people in the town, like, hey, can you guys give us some food or a place to sleep? We're tired, we're traveling through. And the town was like, nope, you don't have a place for us over here. Leave the town. And on the way out, they saw a wall that's crumbling. And then the guy was like, come here, help me, let's fix this wall. And they fixed the wall. And then Moses was like, bro, what are you doing? Like these people didn't even welcome you into the space and da 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 da.
Hmm.
Why are you building this wall for them? And he was like, okay, that's it. Strike number three. Now, no more, there's no more connection between you and I.
Okay.
But let me tell you the meaning of why I did this, and that, right? For the boat, I know there's a king around. He's coming to every port and he's taking by force everyone's boat
Hmm.
for his navy.
Hmm. Hmm.
So I put a hole in the boat so that these poor people don't get their boat taken away, right?
Hmm.
Because the
Hmm.
king is gonna come and da-da-da-da. And um, for the kid, he's devilish, and according to uh, the I guess the commandments or something like that, this is what your Lord has ordained for the kid,
Hmm.
to go, and the wife is pregnant again and they have a kid on the way,
Hmm.
right?
Hmm.
That's gonna be it's gonna bring them life and sustenance to their house and da-da-da. And the house, the wall that we rebuilt, there was actually gold underneath that's left from a father who died to
Hmm.
his now orphan kids.
Hmm.
That I was afraid if the wall falls, that the people are gonna find it and they're gonna steal it from these poor kids, the orphan
Hmm.
kids, right? Here you go. Now I gave you da-da-da-da. But I bring this story up because this notion of some having a limitation of these ethics of what we believe ethics to be or morals to be, right? And um, giving that sovereignty to somebody else.
But that's the problem there.
But that's what I'm saying. Now,
So,
to Al Khidr, let's say, was that a problem to that green, the green man or whatever that spiritual thing?
mhm.
Was that a problem?
Well, it depends, right? Like I feel like your story speaks to very clearly what I'm talking about. At the level of awareness that this person is at, I can't make any I can't infer God consciousness to anyone. I can't infer higher states of consciousness to anyone, which means I should not ever be listening to someone as if they are God. That is the epitome of ignorance and foolishness in my book, Antoine Penn's book.
Yeah.
But if this person is having their own experience and that's their business. I don't need to,
Until that business infers on you.
on me or anybody in my presence. If
Uh-huh.
if let's say the dude is about to put the hole in the boat and I don't know what's going on, hey, no, don't do that. Whether you're supposed to be my teacher or not, I don't have that relationship with hierarchy like that. If I see something, I'm gonna say something. Now, I understand other people in their life and their relationship with religion and stuff like that. That's they silent. This is my master, my teacher. That's not my relationship. I've never been that way. So if I see something that I don't agree with, I'm gonna say something. I mean, unless maybe my life is in jeopardy and they got a gun or knife on me, you know what I mean? An
Mm.
extenuating circumstance, then no. But if I see something, whether you're a teacher or not, I'm saying something. That's just what how I am.
Yeah.
But
But you're saying something based on your ethical and moral standards.
mine.
Yes.
And it's okay to challenge whoever believes themselves to be God walking on
I
earth.
understand.
So in this conversation, when I say that my idea of what ethical and morals breaks down when it comes to a person who's living in that state, I don't mean that, oh, I don't need to challenge them if something doesn't look right. Why would I ever do that for me? That would be crazy. But if this person's having a situation and they got knowledge coming out the ears and stuff like, all right, give me the knowledge. But as soon as they turn left and that left don't look right, I'm saying something.
But that's
Like Moses, but the difference is I'm not trying to be a student to these people.
no, no, I
So
understand.
it doesn't matter to me whether they're in high states of consciousness or not, other than the goal that I can get from them for my own life, which to me is always seasonal. You never know
But I'm saying even to yourself, I don't worry about other people. I'm saying even to yourself.
what you mean.
When you're saying even what
If
I'm saying that there's limitation as long as we're in these bodies,
yes,
the ethical and moral, even at the highest for your inner experience, 100, 200,000 years from today,
yeah,
someone may look at the actions and the morals of Antoine Penn
yeah.
and say, that's not ethical and moral.
But like, how does that matter to a person who is in the states of consciousness that we're talking about? That someone in history or in the past is going to look and say, "Hey, da da da." If someone's in this state, what I'm trying to describe is they are not concerned
What
with
I'm saying is
what
that they should.
I'm not
And
so
it
certain.
probably is.
Let's just say it real quick, like your God,
Hmm.
I'm going to speak personally.
Hmm.
Your God is taking tsunamis
Hmm.
and wiping islands and kids and babies and mothers' arm off the planet, probably as we speak.
Hmm.
Your God is creating volcanoes that's bursting from the earth and burning people up, their homes and everything.
Okay.
Your God is doing all manner of shit every single day. Now, if it was possible that now that this person is in this higher state in consciousness and they're sharing this level of consciousness and awareness with the all-seeing eye, the all-powerful, omnipotent God, and there's somehow an extension of this awareness with God.
Hmm.
This is who they're living as. They are committing individually while they're in body all manners of atrocities every second of every day, and at the same time, probably all manner of beauty going on every second of every day. What I'm trying to describe is that their experience of self is not local to just their nervous system. Their awareness has reached the point of an infinite abstraction where they can acknowledge boundary, but it is absolutely boundaryless. There's no conversation of ethical and moral at that level of awareness. Not to say that it's no good and bad, no evil. It's horrible if somebody's dying or being killed, but this is what's happening every day in our reality. It's not
Yes.
like the flowery God that people have, oh God, I love you, da, 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 and there's just this shit is happening with your God, whatever religion you are, that you choose to ignore every single day for the love of God. And it's horrible that's happening. Somehow, these different traditions are saying you get to evolve to a state where you can share an awareness with this level of reality. What I'm saying breaks down is ethics and morals from my perspective when that's happening, because it's no longer a conversation of an individual uh, having their life lived through a local body. Now they're able to live possibly in that body,
Hmm.
and we can infer all types of ethical and moral things on them, but their experience of awareness, if this is a real thing that people can have, is beyond what we know of as ethics and morals.
I don't know. I think that that might, I can see it. You can talk about it in that way. I think
And you
there's a
just get the
level
story of it
of what that's what I'm saying. I'm saying the limitation. I'm saying the limitation of it.
from Moses' standpoint.
N- even the other dude's standpoint. You're saying you're saying his experience is otherwise.
Like if we want to infer like this person is like in that highest state of awareness where they're sharing awareness with reality itself,
Hmm.
then yeah, their experience would be otherwise. But every step of the way, Moses is right to question this person. The only problem is they established a relationship where Moses say, "Oh, I'm going to be your student. I want to learn from you."
I'm not, I don't care about the questioning or not questioning.
But that relationship establishes that you are the moral ethical hierarchy.
I'm not, I don't care about that.
Mm.
I don't care about, I'm not, that's not the point of, you know, I recognize it that we give sovereignty to other people, you know, whatever. And we do it all the time
All the
in so many
time.
different ways, right? But not, I'm not concerned about that. What I'm concerned about is even in those states that you just described,
Hmm.
in the experience itself, I don't think morality fizzles out. I don't. I think what you're
Well,
describing might be nice, and I think it. Um, I think you're just going to a point of absolute abstraction, right?
where were we? That's where we were going.
No, but everything can stay in that absolute abstraction of essence. But there it's just like, okay, nothing, even experience just becomes no experience.
So wait, let me see. You built your house next to a mountain.
Hmm.
You have your beautiful, I don't want to use you. Someone built their house next to a mountain and they have a beautiful family there.
Hmm.
And then the volcano explodes.
Hmm. Wait, you
Eh,
think that falls in the aspect of morality and ethics?
I'm asking if it does, because in my head, morality and ethics breaks down at that level of reality. Like I could say, yo, I'm angry at God for like killing that family with a volcano. But that would be such a, you can't,
Yeah, yeah, that doesn't make sense.
it does not make sense. What I'm trying to express is for a person who is in that level of awareness, you can't infer my level of logic and ethics and morals onto that kind of being. That doesn't mean that I should watch them create all types of atrocities on the planet. Like if you have a chance to
But why
stop,
not?
because that's not my ethicals and morals, and that's not my God.
But here's the
Why
question.
not is because of this relationship that you said that doesn't matter, but it does matter. The relationship between Moses and the green man. If you have inferred that this green man is the arbiter of all ethics and morals, then yeah, you stay silent. But if not,
No, but okay. So
if not,
here's the
if
thing.
not, if your God is a God that can be questioned, like
No, no, it's not the God. You're,
what?
it's not.
You can't
If
speak to this level of consciousness without also speaking to what reality and what God, infinite source of creation, is.
right.
So
So
when you say it's not God, what do you mean?
no, I'm saying, okay, you have Al Khidr, who's supposedly the green man,
Okay.
right? Who's supposedly, you know, having that kind of experience or at that level, right?
Hmm.
What? Get another person who's
Moses.
supposedly at that. No, not Moses.
Oh, who's supposed to be like I don't. Brahm.
Okay, you get Brahm like that, right? You're saying when it comes to ethics and stuff like that, these two people agree, quote unquote, because
There's
because
no such
ethic.
thing as agree at this level. You
There,
cannot.
what I'm saying, the manifestation. I'm talking about the manifestation level. These are being in manifestation.
So there's a body and then there's a consciousness and awareness. Consciousness and awareness is non-local. It is omnipresent.
Hmm.
This body, this local, let's say you are this local body right now. And right now, even though you are infinite pure consciousness, you're experiencing yourself as one node of awareness
Sure,
in pure consciousness.
sure.
But if you had access to all that you are, which is pure consciousness, there would be no you would be experiencing, let's say if you could through this nervous system, which I doubt is even a possibility,
So,
your
but
awareness would
uh-huh.
experience or be aware of, because experience is is in a body state. Your awareness would be aware of all things simultaneously at all times. And if that is the case, you know yourself as all that exists.
Okay.
Even though you are in one single, your body is one single node of existence.
Okay.
If you are aware that you are everything that is in existence happening simultaneously, everything all at once kind of thing,
Mm-hmm.
how do you then you killed the mother and son, you did the thing, you personally did it. Like there is logic and ethics and morals breaks down at that level of conversation because would you just do you blame yourself now if you experience yourself as the victim and victor? You get what I'm trying to say?
Mm-hmm.
There's an infinite loop of you happening constantly. And the only thing that's making you different is this nervous system, this node of awareness. But if it expands out to infinity, then you are pure awareness itself, looking through the eyes and ears and of every single being ever existed for all time. How do you speak to ethics and morals if you are the victim and victor simultaneously? You know yourself as that. It's not just an intellectual conceptualization. Your awareness is aware of that, even while your body is local.
Okay.
How? How can you, how do you do that? How do you decide when you're both victim and victor? What ethics and morals is?
I don't know.
Because ethics and
No,
morals
not because
happens at
of
a
that.
different level.
No, not because of that. Because I'm not there.
Well, of course. But also, logic indicates that ethic and morals are also not there.
But because you're pointing at a space that is awareness aware of itself,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
But then there's no conversations. Like it's just okay.
This is my point.
But like,
Ethics and
yeah,
morals
but
can't be spoken about in that realm.
but nothing can be spoken about in that realm.
Facts. But we're speaking about ethics and morals right now.
No, I know. But that's what I'm saying. Like you're taking it into a place where it can be spoken.
Not I'm taking it there. You said that if we speak about these beings who I'm describing from the Bible or these different books who are walking the earth in consciousness,
Hmm.
and you said that, yeah, well, they still have something to learn even with ethics and morals. Should I agree with you? If volcanoes are blowing up on people, what I'm telling you is that their awareness, if we're saying that they are that really, then it is the awareness of reality itself. And if it is reality itself, knowing itself as a different node in reality infinitely, then it is both victim and victor. And if that is the case, then ethics and morals, how we mean it, is not a conversation for where those kind of beings would be experiencing reality from. Now, we can constantly judge them. Like, yeah, I could be mad at God often because I didn't get a chance to grow into a level of maturity while my mom was still alive to be able to take care of her. Like, damn, like, how could you take my mom away? Yes, you know, morally or ethically upset with God, like, yo, you just let my mom die like that? You just going, you know what I mean?
Hmm.
But from emotionality, it's a valid point for me. But when you really sort of put your awareness on all that the happening is, it, this is the reality of the situation. This is the game that we're playing here on Earth, where there's this infinite creator um, that we are either a part of or not, but has set conditions in a way that allows certain things to happen. And if we're saying we get to come to a level where that awareness is a shared awareness with us, then we also are victim. We are cause and we are effect simultaneously. Might be saying a bunch of nothing also, but
Hmm.
I'm committed and I'm convinced and I have convictions about it.
Hmm. Yeah.
And also might all be bullshit. You decide.
Yeah, I think that I mean that's the challenge is separating the separation that's taking place between the consciousness that you're talking about
Mhm.
and the conduct.
Mhm.
And I think, or how I'm hearing what you're talking about is you're saying that the conduct, it just falls away and at a level of consciousness, or not falls away, it just becomes un, I don't know what it just kind of
What you
fizzles
mean?
out.
Wait, to unfold what you're saying more for me?
Like at that level of consciousness, awareness aware of itself,
Uh-huh.
then there is no conduct, just becomes a what, I don't know, like commodity or just a thing, you know, where what I'm saying it's not. I'm
I could
saying
agree with that.
like
I'm not saying that conduct just falls away or become sort of insignificant. Is that what it sounds like I'm saying?
no, not that it's insignificant. It's just there's no space for it,
For conduct.
you know?
Help me understand what you mean. Like you're saying, like say a being at that level, there's no space for them to sort of live in the world.
What I'm saying is that even well, a lot of things. I mean, I don't know. Oh, damn. Okay. Is that even the ideas that you're talking about,
Uh-huh.
right? Of, God at such a, aware of itself, volcanoes, good, bad. Even the idea of God itself has evolved through the times.
Yeah.
The ideas of ethics and morality has evolved through the times.
Yes.
The idea of us thinking now, oh God, why did you take away my mom, or why did you take away my village, or why did you take me away from my land and stuff like that, will probably evolve. We're still looking at it as if it's something out there as a separate entity,
Yes.
and but at a certain point in time, that was the majority of it.
Yeah.
People sacrificed other people for
Yeah.
that God,
Yeah.
sacrifice other
Not
things,
for that God, for
you
their
know.
own ignorance.
But now we can say that.
And so I promise you, some people then thought of it also. Not
Maybe,
now. Back then,
maybe,
some always like, please don't kill my daughter for your own ignorance and call it God. Somebody knew somewhere.
maybe.
We are not, some people like to think that we are at the leading edge of intelligence concerning God.
That's not what
We
I'm
may not
saying.
be.
That's not what
Somebody
I'm
back
saying.
then thought this too,
We're not at the leading edge. Where there's an evolution.
of how people think about God.
Yes. There's an evolution. I don't mean good or bad. I'm saying it's not static.
You mean the stories that we come up with about God, I agree. It's not static, right? But throughout the ages, I don't see the conversation evolving. It's the same story, the same logic in a different garment. When you say evolve, I feel like you're just talking about the narrative of God that we've come up with, not sort of the ideas about God that, let's say, the the mystics of these different cultures would have, the aesthetics of these cultures. It seemed to me that whether they are in Greece somewhere back in the day, Africa somewhere back in the day, or I don't know, wherever other places, somehow some people in that group get to the point where they're talking about God in this similar kind of way, whether it's Sufism or Vedas, is dressed up in a different garment. And possibly because it's all God talking about God's self through different narratives.
Yeah. Yeah. But what I'm saying is that that might be true. Now we can look at it and be like, oh, okay, we can see this line and that line and da 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 da. From our standpoint,
Hmm.
from how we're seeing it, even in regards to ethics and morals,
Yeah.
even that we're looking at these quote unquote beings that maybe an incarnation of quote unquote God in the flesh,
Hmm.
right? And then we ask, well, why were they okay with this particular behavior or this particular conduct or this? What I'm saying that it's ever changing.
But what's ever changing? Is is it is it us?
And the ever change, yes,
It's
and the
not
ever. And the ever changing is that, or the danger that, or not danger, the thing that I'm that how we got into this loop is me saying even then, right, at that level of consciousness, there's still limitation.
Mm-hmm.
I'm what I'm pointing at is the limitation of the manifestation in this body, in this 3D reality
Mm-hmm.
that happens, shows up in conduct or ethics or morality
Mm-hmm.
of this omnipresent whatever. What even if the experience of them saying like, okay, I'm the victor and the victim, you know what I mean? And but they're here, and then they're meeting a moment, whether or not to sacrifice a child or not,
Mm-hmm.
sacrifice.
Mm-hmm. What?
That's a limitation. Now we can see it maybe as a limitation, but for them it's like, no, it's the same thing as me wiping out a village in tsunami. Sacrifice this child.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And they're
Mm-hmm.
meeting it in that.
Yeah. I'm in totally, I feel like from that perspective, I'm in
Hmm.
agreement with you. You know what I mean? My
Hmm.
relationship with whoever is talking like this is not disciple to guru. I could care less what their inner experience is if they're doing something fucked up. I could care less whether that what their religion is or where their hierarchy is or what their consciousness is supposedly to be. But
But imagine that's what I'm saying is like, even I'm not concerned if it's another person that I'm looking at as this or that. I'm saying if I am that person,
what about it?
that the conduct is going to be limited by whatever that moral ethic or I feel that the moment is requiring to be due in that moment. That even as that person, I am that.
Can't see it. So your experience, if you are that person,
Hmm.
and then your experience of what you choose to do
Yeah,
is limited
yeah.
somehow by,
I may not see it as limited. In that moment, I'm like, sacrifice,
okay,
right? This is the moment, the proper due to give this moment its proper due, sacrifice,
okay,
right?
and you're doing that without other people around or what?
What you mean when you say without other people
Like,
around?
are people watching you do this or?
Yeah, whatever. We're somewhere.
And this tells you that your awareness would be limited because you would be choosing to sacrifice a child and other people are watching.
No, just the action itself, whether people watching or not watching. What I'm saying, after the now, 2000 years later or whatever, how many years later, we can look at that and be like, okay,
No, bro, not after 2000 years. Somebody in that same circle was looking at it like, please don't kill my child.
sure,
Like, you don't have to be a spiritual person to realize you don't want somebody else to die. You don't have to evolve over 2000 years to realize that. Now,
sure.
if you're talking about a cult back in the day or some level of group think that happened, yeah, maybe they were thinking like that. But even then, there was somebody who was evolved enough to say, please don't kill my child. It's not,
Yeah. What I'm saying is that in that conduct itself is morality is in it. It's embedded in it. It doesn't fall away. It's embedded in it. Like
in what?
in the action, in the manifestation of meeting that moment.
I think somewhere we might be collapsing human behavior with this idea of um in our judgments on human behavior with this idea of what, let's say, God consciousness or this infinite state of abstraction awareness that maybe some spiritual persons say they have with, I think we're collapsing uh so when with what our idea is of a spiritual person. When I'm talking about, let's say, how do you think of infinite abstraction? or how do you think of the reality? How does reality, what is reality's relationship with God?
Uh-huh.
And is that God,
I don't want to go too far
is that
because
one and the same? Because when you speak about these things and then say, while I'm in consciousness, I might choose to do something horrible. It's not a conversation that can, one conversation happens where we are, right? And we can say, yeah, that's horrible. And we make a choice against it, regardless of what reality is trying to do, right? That's why we have hospitals. We're trying, some people, we're trying to
what do you
save
say when you
people
when you mean when you say regardless what reality have to do? And let's
because
let's try
let's
to get
say,
wrap up this conversation.
okay, because let's say someone has a horrible disease,
Yeah.
this might
Yeah.
be
So then
look
you
like
meet that disease. You meet that moment of whatever the disease is.
right, right,
Yeah.
right, right. There is because reality is doing a certain thing, doesn't mean that we shouldn't try and turn it in a different direction.
Right.
I think it's the same thing with whether it's a being that has this level of awareness or consciousness that is on par with reality, the reality we're speaking of. You don't need to, it's not necessary to infer a level of, oh, this a moral or ethical hierarchy to this being.
I'm not.
I know, I get what I'm trying to say. That behavior, whether it's for good or wrong, doesn't stop us from creating the reality in the way we think it should go. Like, for example, if this person is sharing a reality with the God that, or reality that would create a tsunami or volcano, there's no reason why we shouldn't send boats there to like get the people if this volcano is going to go off,
Yeah.
right? Or there, you don't stop being human because somebody else thinks they're God, kind of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, right? Like that,
But
they're
does
going to
does
do whatever they're going to do.
does that person start being human when they think they're God or when they're experiencing themselves as God? That's the point that I'm trying to get
Like,
at.
can they, I think can they do horrible things? Is that what you mean by saying, by stop being human?
No,
What do you mean?
the limitation of being human.
I don't know what you mean. I don't know
What
what you mean.
what I'm
If
saying,
we're
does
talking
that person
about
stop being human?
I don't know what you're saying. Are we still talking about ethics and morals?
Yeah,
And is that what you mean by stop being human, having no ethics and morals?
yeah.
I think that if this being does not have ethics and morals like how we have them, I think if there's a such thing as ethics and morals, then it would be some sort of mixture between what we have and their experience of infinite abstraction. The thing is, the reason why I say ethics and morals breaks down for us to be talking about their experience because we have no idea what it would be to have a choice while you're experiencing yourself as pure awareness, as every single node of reality simultaneously, and then speak to a choice like how you said, like a disgusting, horrible choice. Have no idea. The only thing we could do is come at it with the same ingenuity that we come at every other reality that is horrible or good in society that we have no control over. Whether it's a volcano, a sickness, or anything, you don't speak to those things in terms of morality and ethics. You just do what you need to do as a so-called human with ethics and morals. It's the same conversation with this so-called guru, preacher, whoever's in his highest states of consciousness. You come at it like that with the same level of sovereignty, ingenuity that you approach reality with. That it can't be like, oh God, that is ignorance, in my opinion, at its peak. It's okay to
I
have a
agree.
loving relationship with God, but you also need to have a relationship with the reality that's also a part of God that's being in the happening around you, like
Hmm.
this volcano going on.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
yeah.
There's these two realities, so-called two realities, are happening simultaneously. And I think in our religiosity, we like to separate them. But I don't think there's a separation. I think we have these levels of ethics and morals for a specific reason, and that is to maybe challenge God or reality with human ingenuity, which is maybe just God curving back on God's self. You know what I mean? But
Hmm.
that's my thoughts about ethics and morals when it comes to speaking about a reality that is beyond ethics and morals, and whether a human being can share that reality with God.
Yeah.
What?
Okay. That's good. I think I think establishing the point of, where, we can agree on some stuff. I think the things that statement, the end statement that you ended with, a reality that's beyond ethics and morals. I think I hold the opposite of that, where that reality is ethics and morals is embedded within that reality, and it's one and the same.
I hear you.
So I think that's the ground of which where we're coming at this question, um, you know,
Hmm.
which is, I think, is a good place to end it.
Put it on camera.
Of
We got more. Oh, you don't know more questions for us?
nah, that's it.
What?
We're done for the day.